Hello, everyone. Hi, this is Cece, and you're listening to the Boy and Girl Thing show, and we're on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and we're having a little trouble with Derek's video, so we're trying. If y'all stay with us, I know we already have somebody in the lobby. Hey there, Diva. Is it Diva? Denise? Diva Denise, I believe, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's nice to see you, but let us see if we can get him going here. I don't know. It doesn't show where your camera is. You maybe turn your camera on and turn it off. Derek, I can't hear you either. What a shame. Because I was really going to argue with him today. So hang in there with us. No. Doggone it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything. Well, I can put you on speaker and you can talk. I'll do that. Okay. Let me put you on speaker. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All righty. Can you hear? I'm going to put you over here close to this.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you. Okay.
But are you hearing me through the phone or through the
I'm hearing you through the phone. I'm not hearing you through anything. I'm not hearing you through the...
It's not coming through the computer at all.
No.
It's coming through... I'm hearing you through the phone. I'm not hearing you through...
The computer. I don't know. No.
What's going on?
I don't know. Have you closed down the platform completely and come back up again?
Let me try that and see.
Yeah, let's see. All right, you guys, anybody that's listening, I know we have a viewer here that's listening, so sorry about the trouble. But what we're going to talk about tonight, I'll just chat on until he can try to get in on here. And you're welcome to join us, too. You can come right into the lobby. Hopefully, maybe you can come in and we can get that. But we're going to go, this is the part 2 of our 15 reasons why he chose her over you. And last time we talked about the different elements, and I got to keep going back and making sure that Derek's not there waiting for me. But let's talk about those. One of them was he loves her confidence, and a man likes a woman that has confidence. She never pressured him. The other woman never pressured him, but that will come, right? We know that will come. Compatible social style. I think that is very important when we're in a relationship, that we do have a compatible social style. Does he want to go out, stay home? Does he like to be quiet? She likes noisy places. I think there's always compromise in everything. However, that has to be, you have to be kind of on the same page a little bit, or at least come to some sort of meeting of the minds of how you're going to handle that. The other thing is she compliments him. Boy, she strokes his ego and makes him feel so important. And sometimes when we're in a long-term relationship, we forget about that, don't we? We got to keep doing that. Both men and women we like those compliments. We like to feel good. Derek told us last time that he loved that. So we know that that's true. She's a lot more fun. Oh, yeah. Here
we are.
Here we are. Woohoo!
I know.
All kinds of things, and you couldn't hear me.
I changed my I changed the what do you call it? The browser.
Yeah.
I went to Google Chrome, and there we are.
You have to, or you can't come in. Google Chrome is the only way you can come in.
Oh my God! Never realized that.
Chrome are not diamonds. We can't be sapphires, rubies. We have to be Chrome.
We have to be Chrome. No silver.
No silver, no steel, and Chrome all the way, baby.
I see.
Well, I was just going over some of the things that we talked about. She's a lot more fun. That was one of them.
Right.
And they share the same affection style.
Yes.
That's real important, isn't it? The affection.
Absolutely.
The same level as your affection. You know, some people really like more affection than others. And
right.
If you like it more and, you know, and she doesn't, she's really needs to, you know, make sure that, she, you know, your love language is being dealt with.
Same thing. One can be toned up and the other one toned down. You know, it's
right.
it's got to be kind of matching each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you want it to be, I need to scoot over here. I'm like half this room. You want it to be real, right? You know, you want affection to be real. You don't be like, okay, I really don't want to hold his hand, but he wants to, so I guess I'll do it.
Yes.
You did it.
I think earlier this evening I saw, just going through Yahoo or something, and I saw one of the famous couples on the red carpet or some event.
Yeah.
And the guy was going to hold the girl around her waist, and she pushed his hand away and frowned the face and turned away. And I'm saying, oh my God, you know, it's like that was so embarrassing to him, and especially since it was on national, you know, news kind of way. So, you know, we have to kind of match styles. We have to make sure that we are each comfortable with the way we interact with each other and so on, you know.
In public too, we got to make sure that we don't embarrass the other party. Hey Ron, we've got Ron here that's he's listening to the show. We want to appreciate that. He's here listening. He's made a comment, so we really do appreciate that. We also have Diva with us too, so thank you.
Wonderful.
So much. Yes, we appreciate that. So let's go on to the next issue. The next item was actually number 9. They have the same family values, and so often, you know, when you're settling down, when you're looking at being with someone, you want to make sure they're on the same page family-wise, because if you're a real family person, that's going to be a real thorn in your side if they're not, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You know, one person can be looking forward to starting a family, and the other person is saying, you know what, I don't want kids. All I want is a little dog, or I just want a little cat, or a bird.
Oh, guess what?
You know, and the other person is looking forward to having kids. So, you know, we have to be sure about those kind of things, because that creates major disagreements in any relationship. In fact, one famous couple split because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Guy didn't want kids, girl was looking forward to kids, and they went their separate ways.
Yeah. And also I've heard before too, I've heard where family with regards to even your parents, like let's say they go over, you know, like let's say it's him. He goes over to mom and dad's house every week, you know, has a dinner on Sunday. And she's going, oh my gosh, I don't want to see them every week, you know. So, you know, what are you going to do? And then a lot of times too, when you're in a relationship and then all of a sudden the holidays come, right? And you're having to split your time with that. So you've really got to be on the same page with the importance of family. Because,
Absolutely.
You know, you can't go to your parents all the time and not go to hers. So you gotta kind of come together on that.
Together. You know, then I mean, look, this is a country of immigrants and so on, and some cultures really still appreciate the extended family, right? Where the cousins, the uncles, you know, nephews, everybody, they're all one family. And sometimes here in the US, people are just concerned, especially with suburban families, they're just concerned with the nuclear family. So, you know, where you might marry someone from a different culture and you expect, well, look, they're going to jump into your whole family situation, you know, and everybody's going to be happy. And she's like, ooh, what is this? You know, I just want to be with him. And if we have a kid or whatever, or a dog or whatever it is, you know, so we have to look at all those kind of different family values as well. You know,
I really have that. Maybe need to turn your volume down a little bit.
My volume
on still, do you?
All right. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say too, I think it really is important on the cultures, right? Understanding your partner's culture, because that is true, you know, when it comes to family. You know, I've had a couple couples come into the divorce support group where they have literally split up because of family. And the family kind of got into their stuff, their business, all that kind of stuff. So you really got to talk it out, you know, before you're married to, and before you really have a long-term committed relationship, to make sure that you're on the same page with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that can be very hurtful, I think, for some, for sure.
Yeah, it can be.
Okay, so let's see, number 8. You weren't relationship material. Ooh, I like it. Oh, you're not one we take home to mama.
No, you're my little secret lover. You know,
you're my little boy.
You are not going to the family gathering, darling.
No.
Especially dressed like that. You know, so you have all these idiosyncrasies, you know, and there are a lot of nuances in human beings and relationships and so on. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone.
Well, I mean, I think this is truly difficult, because I think if you've been dating a long time and then all of a sudden you find out that you're not, I hate to say it, good enough, right, to be associated with their friends or their family or people that they feel that are important to them.
Right.
That can be really hurtful.
Oh, yes. That's one in the chin. That's one in the chin that a lot of people can't handle. But then I think that if someone is dating someone else, they have to understand that that person has at some point to be integrated into the rest of the family if it's a serious relationship. And therefore, you should know upfront whether this is the type of person that can fit into with your scenario, yes or no. Now, you might decide to say walk away from the family because you're in love or whatever, and say, you know what, we can exist here in our own kind of understanding, and the rest of the family may not appreciate what I have. We either have to deal with it or leave me alone. You know, so people make all kinds of sacrifices. It just depends on how valuable this person is to you.
Well, I agree with that, but I also know that when you're dating and you haven't really made a committed relationship, you're not really, but you're just dating and it's going good and everything is going right. And if he or she doesn't start embracing you into their lifestyle, you know, meaning doesn't start introducing you to the friends or something like that, that really does let you know where you stand in that relationship. Because there again, they don't feel the value of you to introduce you, or maybe ready yet, or something like that. But you've got to understand what the stopping point is. Why is that happening?
Well, CC, I call that a sexual partner.
And I thought I could die.
You know, hey,
the door in your face, buddy. No, I mean, really. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're dating just to be together and have a sexual relationship and a good time or whatever, then that's fine. You got to be on the same page with that.
On the same page with that.
Dating to have a relationship, and you're really looking for a long-term relationship, and you've been dating somebody for, you know, a good while, and they haven't started embracing you into their lifestyle, then that's a red flag.
It's a big red flag.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big one.
Yeah. And there's a conversation that needs to be had, and a big door on your nose.
Oh, yes. Yeah, but I mean, you know, but one has to know where one stands in any relationship. You know, and it's important that those things be made clear so that people wouldn't have expectations, because expectations breed disappointments.
Right.
And then love can turn into hate, and the emotions can play all around the place. So
Right. Right. Well, it
you
just
know,
turns into hurt feelings, because then you start feeling like you're not good enough or whatever. And that may not even be the case. The case could just be that that person isn't ready for a relationship and just doesn't want to go that far. Doesn't want to have to go and tell his family and friends, oh, well, I broke up with her, or, oh, I broke up with him. There's still things that they're sorting out in a relationship. So, but that is a big clincher right there. That was number 8.
that was number 8.
Number 7, I think what you guys don't like, and we do most often, is nag.
And I try very hard to
not
understand
You try not to nag?
the psychology of the nag. Why do women nag?
Uh-oh. Look here. This is other. Okay. Ron had written something here. He said, and there may be other factors and motivations for that scenario. You mean the first one or the nagging one, Ron? Which one do you mean? The first scenario where we don't introduce, or is it the nagging? And yes, there could be many factors involved in that nagging. For sure. But, I mean, where does it come? Where does it start being like we ask you to do something and then it turns into a nag? Because you said you do it and then you haven't done it.
Well, I mean, okay, because I think that people have to understand, first of all, that although we are partners, we may be living together or whatever, we are adults. We have our own thoughts, we have our own concerns, we have our own priorities. And sometimes what might seem very important to one party isn't as important to the other party, and something that they think can wait a little while without being harmful. Now, some people, and I try to understand the psychology of the nag because I think there's a kind of psychology behind it. I think that some people react to their past experiences instead of living in the present, in the moment. They may have some experience even from the word kid that causes them to think that as soon as they ask for something, or that they ask that something be done, that it has to be done right away. Sometimes it's because of miscommunications, right? Because a nag isn't always about something that the woman wants done and the man isn't doing. A nag could be sometimes that a man is in a certain situation and the woman just try to nag him out of the situation.
What makes you think that it's a woman nagging?
But I have never, honestly.
Does it say in the article that it has to be a woman nagging? I don't say many women can't stop themselves from nagging.
And to be quite honest, I have not met a man who renags. But then I have never lived with a man, so I don't know. But as far as I know, have you ever met a man who nags, CC, honestly?
Yes. My ex-husband nagged.
He was a nag?
He was a nagger. He would nag at you. He wanted whatever he wanted it. When he said he wanted it now, he wanted it done right now. And if he didn't do it right now, he would start nagging at you.
He was demanding.
Yeah, he was very demanding. I think that's what it is. I think it's demanding people, or if you've promised and you didn't fulfill your promise, then their nagging starts, It's like, well, you said you would do this. You take out the trash tonight, and here it is, 5 nights in a row, and the trash isn't out, and there's 4 bags of garbage sitting there that I've tied up by the door. What's up with that?
Well, you take it out. What's wrong with your hands? I mean,
you promised to do
it. I tend to slip away from the relationships the first time I get nagged, because I think it just isn't worth my time trying to be in a relationship that I'm going to be miserable in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to understand each other enough to know that, hey, you know what? Don't sweat the small things. You know, and that's a book that I read some years ago as well. It's Don't Sweat the Small Things. Just, you know, you're a couple, you're in a relationship, try to relax with each other.
I think sometimes nagging is, I think the nagger, the one that nags, I think sometimes it's deeper. And I think that the reason they nag, I mean, some people just nag to be nagging, but I do think that if the person didn't nag before and then they start nagging in the relationship, I think it's really like a call for attention. It's something like they're feeling like they're devalued somehow. And so they're trying to get attention and they're just getting attention in a negative way.
Well,
And so I think that I think if you're the party that's being nagged, I think you need to stop for a minute and okay, maybe she's being or he's being a pain in the butt, but maybe stop for a minute and say, well, wait a minute. Is there something more to this? Am I not giving the attention that I need to give? Have I made promises that I haven't fulfilled? Have I done something? Because I think so often we turn around and we point our finger to the nagger versus actually owning up to maybe the reason the person is nagging is because they're frustrated, you know, and they're seeing a relationship that's slipping and they just don't know what to do and how to get that conversation started. So I think it's better if you see that happening, maybe just sit down and say, hey, what's going on here? You know, because you weren't like this before and you're doing this now. And what's really happening?
well, I mean, that is true.
You'd be saying, adios.
I'm gone. But that is true. But there's so many ways that a woman can get your attention in a positive way. Why nag? You know, and if you have a relationship with someone, then you should be able to approach that person and say, listen, things are not right, or this is bothering me, or whatever. If you can't do that, then I have to question what kind of relationship you have in the first place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that there might be something underlying there that you're really, instead of saying, okay, I'm just going to break up the relationship, if it's really of value, then I think you need to stop for a minute and say, okay, both parties need to stop and say, what's going on here? Let's sit down. Let's talk about this. What is it? Because is it just about not the trash, or is it something about what is it? It's got to be something more if you're doing it all the time, or if that's just your personality, then maybe you're just not the right person. You know, you just not.
That's the thing. And now, CC, you see why I never carry out the trash for the first week.
Excuse me, so you take it home with you instead. Here, you brought all this food into the house, all these cartons. We ate all this takeaway. Now here, you can take it away with you when you go. Oh, that's funny. But I really do feel it could be something more underlying.
Well, I think it very well might be something on the line, or it could be part of that personality makeup. If it's onset nagging, like that wasn't there before, and just all of a sudden the nagging started, then okay, that could be some other underlying factor. But if that person is a habitual nagger, then you meet that person and within a month or they start nagging, then hey, time to go.
There you go. Now let's talk about this next one, because I think this is really important. This is number 6, and you didn't fit in with his plans.
With his plans.
Or vice versa. You know, the guy didn't fit into her plans.
Right.
So what this means is that really future plans, I think,
Absolutely.
For instance, like I can just use me as an example. I had a man in my life who wanted to travel, right? And so he went out and bought a motorhome. And gave up his home and wants to live in a motor home and wants to travel and everything. And I'm not ready for that right now in my life.
Right.
Know? And neither is he. Now he's just sitting parked in a travel park, in the camper park, and doing nothing but working, and the same scenario. We just changed places. But the thing is that you got to be on the same page with your future plans. I think let's say if someone wants to go to overseas and take a course or something, and they're going to leave you for a few years. I mean, you have to make sure that you fit into the plans. I had a friend of mine I was talking to at one time. Is a doctor, very prominent doctor, and I asked him one time, well, how come he wasn't, how come he never got married? He's a great catch, nice guy. And he said, well, I had someone that was really important in my life, and I regret it now, but I was taking a course overseas, and I was going to be gone for several years, and I would either have to give up that and a path of my career, and stay here and maybe try to find something else, or continue on. And he chose to continue on with the, with his path of going overseas. And of course she couldn't at that time. So they broke up. And so it wasn't not that he didn't care for her, because he still remembers her after all these years and kind of regrets it, but they weren't on that same path together.
Well, yeah, I mean, that happens. I mean, sometimes people have gotten to a certain point in life and they go in different directions, and they just can't accommodate each other's schedules at that point. And then you have to move on, because, you are certain about what you want to do with your life in terms of if it's a business, your education, your career, whatever it is. A relationship is something you would like to have, but a relationship is never certain, because, 1 year, 2 years down the road, that relationship can take a different turn. And then you're going to kick yourself and say, you know what, I should have gone on my path. I gave up what I wanted to do for this relationship, and now look what happened. And then on the other hand, you could end up years down the road saying, that's the relationship I really should have had. That's the one I really should have stuck with.
So the thing is, you never really know about it.
You never know.
You just have to make decisions, and it's heartbreaking when that happens, when you finally feel like you've actually met someone that you could really connect with, and then the path is different. I think young people find that a lot, because they're either meeting in college, or maybe they're meeting young and going to college, going to school, but their careers are not quite in place yet. And so that leads them sometimes to different places. So that can be quite heartbreaking, when
I mean, on the other hand, one just have to sometimes say, you know what, chalk it up to experience and move on. You have to be an optimist.
Yeah.
You got to keep going forward. One foot in front of the other is the only way you can move. I can look back on my life and say, there's several relationships I felt that I probably should have just settled with and stuck with, and probably I would have been happy today. Happier. Right?
You would have been happy.
Well, I'm happy, but I probably would have been happier. But at the same time, I don't know what might have happened.
But here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing, is you made a decision. And sometimes, if we look back, we do that woulda, shoulda, coulda thing, right? But who knows? Maybe you're going to meet the one that's just the one. Right? Even better than what the other one was. Which leads us to the very next one, is that he finds her more attractive. He finds the new girl more attractive than the last girl, right?
But that's the way it's supposed to be.
No, I call that trading up, is what I call it. Trading up. And you know what? Sometimes that attractiveness is not necessarily physical. It could be anything. It could be status. And a lot of people do that, trade up. they think they're getting something better, you know, than the relationship that they do have. So here's the thing. It's okay. Let's say you're in a committed relationship, right? And you're saying to yourself, okay, this is the love of my life and blah, 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 blah. And I mean, you guys are like living together practically, right? And then all of a sudden, Miss A walks by and you're like drooling and you're going off, you know, into the other thing. And so, you know, it's very hurtful that the person that's left behind, that you're being traded up on, it's extremely hurtful for that person.
Well, I mean, look, if that person is someone that you really love, someone that you really have given your life to, you won't necessarily trade up.
That's
you know,
right.
Yeah, you can drool. Nothing wrong with drooling. Listen, I
drool.
I will drool, okay, and I will drool after the physical, especially. That's just me, you know. Hey,
you see out there in your walker, right?
I'm drooling here, you know. It doesn't mean that I love you any less, you know. But I think that couples should be open enough to be able to drool. I had one girlfriend like that. We were living together. In my younger days, we were both, I would say, very attractive people at that point. And I'll walk the street and she'll see me looking at someone else. And she'll just smile. And she said, well, why you don't go talk to her? I said, are you kidding me? The first time she said, are you kidding me? Why do you want me to go talk to this girl? Why are you looking at her all the time? I said, okay, I'll call your bluff. I'm going to talk to her. So I went to talk to the girl and I got a telephone, her name, telephone number. I said, look, you see this? I can still do this. I got a name and telephone number and all of that, you know, and she will just laugh, you know, because one thing she knew is that I will drool, but I'm not going anywhere. You know, she had enough confidence in herself to know that you ain't going anywhere. I had enough confidence in myself as well, because guys will be looking at her all the time and I'll say, look, I don't know you. I'm walking up the street. I'd rather tell me secrets. I wouldn't give the rest of the secrets, but that had a whole scenario.
Yeah. But okay, here's the thing, and I agree with you. And here's the thing, is that if you get traded, you know, if they do trade up, right, then it's better that it happened and just be gone with it, because if they didn't feel that your relationship was priority, or that you really weren't the one, then you didn't need them in your life anyhow, right?
I think that if trading happens,
yeah,
there wasn't really real commitment and bonding in that relationship,
right?
You know, and I mean, look, in the Islamic world, right? Probably that's why men, when they get to a certain age, takes a younger wife, but he doesn't abandon the first wife. She's still there. So Islamic men are permitted to have up to what? I think it's 3 or 4 or 5 wives, something like that.
Crazy. More than one woman.
But in that scenario, no trading takes place, right? Because the first wife is still the head. The other wives are they're coming in after her because he probably felt attracted to this other woman, younger woman or whatever. But she's coming into the home of the first wife. So they probably have something on us. They figured out something that we didn't.
Yeah. But she might be tired of him, so she's glad the new girl came over. So, okay, take him off my hands. Really.
That could be as well, you know.
Yeah, because I don't think they always marry for love. I think they marry for arrangement. So
right,
yeah.
And that's the way it was in Western society as well. People married especially in the upper classes, they married because of economics or some arrangement taking place.
Right.
And I really don't know when love in relationships really stepped in. I must check that out and see how that evolved over time.
But I don't think that differs today, because I do think that we're all in relationships for some reason. Maybe it is love, or maybe it is convenience, or maybe it is security.
Or is it that you just pretend it's love and put love out there?
Yeah. So there's, very well, especially if he, if he's a skirt chaser so quickly. So yeah, totally. But yeah, no, I totally get it. I do think that, relationships break up for more reasons than just someone being attractive. It could be status, what they can gain from status. It could be money, it could be a lot of different things. And so,
number of things.
Yeah. And so if it happens, I mean, you might be hurt over it, but the best thing to do is just, call it what it is and move on from it, learn from it. His friends love her. So that's number 4.
And I think that's an important factor.
Mm-hmm.
When you have someone in your life and your friends appreciate that person, that person tends to fit into a group that you're part of. It's a more complete relationship than if that person is standoffish or can't fit in. And now you have to choose between your friends and your love.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very important that when you have a relationship, that your friends also appreciate the person that you are bringing, because you're not just having that person for you, you're bringing that person into a group. Mm-hmm. Right? Because human beings are not, human beings are very social animals, so we bring people into a group. It's not like it's going to be you and her alone.
Mm-hmm. Right. And the other thing is, if they don't like her, or him, they don't like him, they're going to be saying all these negative things, right?
Yes.
They're constantly saying, this kind of stuff.
Let me introduce you to this other girl.
And maybe they're seeing something that you haven't seen because your brain is in your, what?
Right.
So maybe they're seeing something more, and finally, when you wake up, you realize that, So I don't think we need to say more about that, do I?
You see, the funny thing is, if you wake up after you marry this person,
mm-hmm.
and after you have your first kid or whatever, then there's a whole other set of complications associated with that, because your friends never accepted her in the first place, and now your friends and you are split apart. And so people have to understand that the social group that we belong to mm-hmm. must also be able to appreciate the person that you're bringing into your life, because you're bringing them into the group as well.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. This one here, I've had the experience is she has a life. And actually, it's been the other way around for me, where it's been difficult. I've had a difficult time in a relationship because I have a life and they just want me to be just centered around them. And so in this scenario, he's attracted to her, the other woman, because she has a life. She's not solely dependent or centered around him.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, there are different people. Some guys are clingy and some women are clingy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're clingy, look for a clingy partner, right? But if you like your independence and you recognize that you need your time and so on, look for somebody who is like that as well. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't make any sense that you are clinging to your partner and she's trying to do her stuff, or she's clinging to you and you're trying to do your stuff. It's like, hey, get somebody like yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you both have to be on the same page.
On the same page.
Yeah, totally. The number 2 is she played it cool. Now, how about that? It said after things start, you get more serious. Guys always expect women to lose their minds and go completely bonkers. And most of the time, it's something that actually occurs. We just can't help it. After being intimate with a guy, we really like it. It's normal. We want to talk to him a little bit more, spend a little bit more time with him. We generally just want to get closer. So there again, it's the being clingy.
Right.
Too early, being too self asserted,
Yeah.
before really then before time is
Before
right.
time has gotten there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think in this case, she played it cool, and that's a good thing because she doesn't want to appear, and she might be wanting to, but she might be wise and say, let me play it cool. Let me see how this goes. Let me not go crazy and think that I just have to grab onto this guy because he made me feel so great, and let him feel like he's the only guy in the world, right? And someone do that, and that could be appreciated as well because, it's nice when a woman is cool. And a lot of women don't understand that men will come running after them if they give that man the room to run after them. But if you're always running to him and you're always clinging, everybody wants what they think they can't have, right? So give him a little room. Let him think that, hey, I'm not that interested, And he might come running. If he's not interested either, well, he might just say, praise God, and go the other way, right? But if he's for you,
if you step back and allow him, I've always said you allow a man to be a man. If you step back, let him step up. And if he doesn't, then he wasn't the right man for you anyhow.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the man needs a little room to chase. We are hunters by nature.
Well, and I also think a man has to choose you. You have to be chosen. And so that's part of it. If he doesn't step up to you, and like for instance, if he doesn't ask you out or he doesn't do whatever, he's just not that into you. You've got to be chosen by him, and that's why you need to be careful about being intimate too early, because he does need to chase you. He does need to,
In all honesty, I mean, it might be a little inconvenient for me sometimes, but I recommend a period of time when there's no intimacy. I don't prescribe, say, 3 months or 6 months or whatever, but it has to be a period of time. If you just meet someone and jump in the bed with them, that's what the relationship is always going to be about. But because the sexual emotion and drive is the strongest emotion and drive that human beings have. So if you let that, kind of put that to the side, get to know the person a little better and so on, you will know when it's right. You both will know when it's right to make that step. But often it's not the first time you meet, the first week you meet. Give it a little time. Put a little value in the relationship before you make that purchasing decision.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But I do think that if you wait a little bit and you get to know each other, you get more of a bonding, you get more of a relatability. And then that leads us to our last one.
The last one.
Connection on a deeper level.
Deeper level. So after you wait,
really do get intimate,
right?
It becomes much more than just sex.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So after you wait a little while, now you put the icing on the cake, and you connect. And then probably because you have waited and all that anticipation built up, and you've gotten to know each other a little better, and you're more comfortable with each other and so on, that could be a wonderful experience. That could be absolutely wonderful, because now it's more than just that animal drive and instinct. Is something more than that. Now it's feeling, now it's emotions, now it's care, appreciation. All of that goes into that final act of commitment.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Well, I think we covered all of them, and we did it right in perfect timing.
Perfect timing, yes.
I think it's important, this whole segment, both this one and the previous one, it's very important because, the whole topic was he chose her over you. But the reality is that you truly, at the end of the day, want a really good, solid relationship. And so if he decides to go with someone else, then you're just not the right one, and he's not the right one for you, right?
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah.
And
So-
vice versa, because these days, you see, sometimes women do the choosing.
Sorry. I don't know what happened there. I lost it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And women do choose. We do choose our man.
Absolutely. It's not always a man choosing these days. Women have evolved beyond that.
Yeah, it's true. It's not, I feel that a woman does choose a man, and she kind of entices him, and she does all the things that women do, right? And we do
Right.
it sometimes. And but at the end of the day, the guy has to choose her. He has to say she's the one, because if he doesn't, he won't stay.
He won't stay. He'll walk away.
Yeah, he'll walk away from one reason, or we've got 15 here. And so that's the thing, is that, you know, you have to allow a man to be a man. And I think women, when you have selected a guy that you think, you know, he could be the one, you have to allow things to happen and take place and mature, and hopefully that will definitely happen.
Well, that's true. I agree with that. I would say absolutely.
Yeah, Ron made a gratification, awesome, in different points after
After meeting. That is true.
Very true.
Once we understand it's not all about just gratification or one-sided gratification. The gratification has to flow in both directions.
Right. And there's so many elements that play a part in building a relationship. So, you know, when one lacks, you know, then it starts teetering, and then the relationship, you know, becomes troubled. So that's the problem that we have. Well, this was a great show, and I enjoyed it very much. Did you like it?
Absolutely, Sissy. It was a wonderful show. We continued from last week, and we got the final 7 points in. And as usual, I enjoyed your company.
Oh, it was great. So the show we did today was the second part of 15 Reasons Why He Chose Her Over You. It's a lot of fun, and this is the Boy and Girl Thing. I'm Cece Schatz.
And I am Derek Bernard.
And we'll see you next week, next Thursday. Same place. Okay, you're listening. You have a nice week too. WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. Bye for now.